Well, our BMW rally car is starting to look pretty cool. So today, it's time to make sure that the engine temperatures stay as cool as the car looks, if that makes sense. We're gonna get rid of a lot of this plastic stuff with some metal bits, like these. We're gonna be replacing the stock radiator and a bunch of other components with nice aftermarket metal bits that aren't gonna give up on me in the desert. I'm Zach and this is Money Pit. Let's get wrenching. Big fat thank you to eBay Motors for sponsoring today's video. Look, I know there's a buttload of options out there when it comes to buying a car, but how many can you really trust? I mean, who out there guarantees that the less than 10-year-old vehicle you bought online is the same one that shows up with a vehicle protection program? As if someone out there utilizes a proprietary web feature called Fitment that guarantees any part you buy is the right part for your car. Ha! That'll be the day. Huh? What? eBay Motors does that? What is this? Well, I stand corrected. eBay Motors already does all that and more. So shop for cars and parts with confidence by going to the link in the description below. Now let's get back to Money Pit. As you may or may not be aware, we recently bought a stock BMW E36, and it didn't stay stock for long. We've been modifying it to become our own kind of budget-minded DIY off-road rally project car. Now, of course, you can drive a stock car off-road to some success, but that's not what we're doing here. We're modifying this thing with a bunch of rally-inspired mods, and along the way, we'll see if those mods are worth all the time, effort, and money they take to complete. So, cooling system on a car is a pretty simple thing. It basically sends a bunch of fluid through your engine to absorb all the heat that your engine is making, then it sends it to the radiator to get rid of all that heat. And then it just keeps doing that and doing that forever so that your engine stays running. Now, we've gone pretty in depth with cooling stuff in the past on Money Pit. If you want to learn more, check out the link right here. So the cooling system we've got here is okay in terms of overall design. It works for the car, especially at stock power levels. The only problem really comes from some of the materials that things are made of. There's a lot of plastic in this engine bay and in this cooling system specifically, and that plastic is known to get brittle and give up, crack, start leaking, let go altogether. So our job today is really just to replace a lot of the failure-prone plastic pieces with metal bits that aren't gonna come apart. So let's go take a look at our new metal bits. Okay, so here we've got our radiator. It's made by Mishimoto. A lot of the stuff's made by Mishimoto. This is a full aluminum radiator, and it replaces plastic end tanks with aluminum ones. Then we've got our expansion tank. This stock form, all plastic. This one, all aluminum, baby. So that's cool. Then we've got a sick little fan setup, and by little I mean big, is one large fan. And we've got some new hoses and this thermostat housing. This is plastic from the factory. That's ridiculous. This one's metal. And then we've got a water pump. We're gonna replace the water pump while we're doing this stuff too. And then we've of course got a new thermostat. So with all this stuff combined, we should have a pretty bulletproof cooling system that can take all of the abuse in the desert. The first time we went out to the desert, the cooling system was fine, but by the time we made it home, we had developed a leak from one of the end tanks on the radiator. It's that plastic stuff. Gotta get rid of it. In terms of time that this is gonna take, I'm figuring, we gotta get down there with the water pump. Whoa, 6 hours? 6 to 8 hours. I mean, it's always tough to really get a guess when you're filming too.
Come down a touch. A little bit more. Okay, that's good. Now, f them up.
Benefit of the doubt. We'll go 8 hours total, start to finish, get all this stuff done. We're also gonna have to bleed the system, but I got a nice little tool for that somewhere. And difficulty level, low-ish. Low-ish, you know? Mostly low. You know, the first step to any of these dances is to take out the old stock stuff. So, god dang it, let's take out some stock stuff. How to jack this B word up?
Yeah.
Cool.
Hit the road, Jack.
For now, we're just gonna break my back, Zach. Well, you know, you gotta get a full body workout, Phil. These are all different exercises. This is my trilateral pull down. All right, the first thing we're gonna take out is the air box. Get a little room here. Look how much more we can see.
I can see clearly now.
This air box is gone. Alternator cooling pipe, fat hole in it. Put a little tape on that. She's just got a second mouth. Yeah, so we'll tape that up. Who knows? Take off all these Phillips head screws with this flathead.
No.
You are about to be wrecked. Well, Felipe, you owe me dinner.
Every time I owe you dinner, you get to pick a 2-star restaurant from Yelp.
Yo, that sounds kind of fun. I don't think I've seen a 2-star restaurant in a long time. That would be an experience. What are you doing? Tugging my fan?
When you can hear that sound?
Oh, look. Keep doing that. We found the leak. I was like, I shouldn't be hearing them super squishy noises like that.
Well, there you go. Now you know that it's absolutely worth it.
Well, you guys can leave now.
Yeah.
We've already found out.
Click out, go to the next one.
Yep, this one's worth it.
What came out? Wheelhouse?
All right, see you guys next week.
What came out of Wheelhouse? I'm not even sure.
A part of this whole process is going to be replacing all the coolant, so I'm going to drain it from the radiator, but I'm also going to try to get to the block drain plug for the coolant and get all the old coolant out of the engine. So that in addition to all our new metal parts, we also have a fresh new batch of coolant in the whole thing. Okay, no spill, not a single drop spilled. Sure enough. Okay, we'll just let that make pee sounds for a while and eventually it'll be empty.
This is now an ASMR video.
Check out my desert souvenirs. Some large rocks, a Toyota fog light bezel. That didn't start out in here. All right, so I've located the drain plug that's gonna let the rest of the coolant out of the block. Now all I gotta do is loosen it. See if we can avoid, making a bigger mess than we need to. And sometimes you just can't avoid that kind of stuff. So have paper towels ready, buckets, try to catch as much as you can, but also be ready for a mess. Like AKA, get your hat out of the way. I'll do my best. Well, that sucks. I mean, ridiculous. I mean, it's just dumping straight onto the manifold, so it's just going every direction.
I got it on the list.
All right, so it's about time to pull off our fan, which means we need some tools. I got a fan clutch wrench here. It's just a big, skinny wrench. And then this will be used to hold the water pump pulley in place, which is what the fan's connected to. So if I tried to loosen the fan without this, I would just spin the water pump. So I can hold on to one of the heads of the bolts with this hole here, and then just kind of leverage it against the pulley, and I can connect my ratchet to that, and then basically I'll be twisting against my two tools. There we go. Come on, give up your secrets. There it is. And then the radiator comes out. And there she is, with them plastic tanks.
Oh man, I just mopped the damn floor.
All right, so now we need to get down to our water pump. So we're gonna take our serpentine belt off by loosening this here tensioner and removing the belt. Now, the difference between a belt that looks good and healthy and a belt that doesn't look good and healthy, well, you kind of want to look at the ribs here and look for cracks. So this one has no cracks whatsoever. This thing really does look pretty fresh. So I don't even feel bad about forgetting to order belts. So the problem often with removing pulleys, especially a water pump pulley, is that the whole pulley spins when you try to loosen the nut or bolt. So an easy thing you can do is just wrap your old or your current belt around it and just grab both sides of it to take good hold of the pulley. And then there you go. You can loosen loosen your hardware and get your pulley off and get down to your water pump. Well, I'm gonna pop this little water pump out of here. Ow! Oh, and it is an old plastic pump. This is probably the original pump to the car. So that's plastic, which, you know, I'd prefer metal. And we do have a bunch of corrosion. So now I'm gonna spend a little time cleaning up the bore before we put in our new water pump. I'm also gonna take off this plastic thermostat housing, replace it with the metal one that we've got over there. Ooh, a little bit gunky. And our thermostat, a little bit stuck. Okay, the new thermostat's in. The thermostat housing is in place. So now I'm just gonna lube up my new big fat O-ring on my new water pump, and then we'll put the water pump in. Put it back on the way it came off. Just kind of snake it through, ribs to ribs, back of belt to tensioner, ribs to ribs. And always butts to nuts, especially on long bike rides. Okay, now that we've got our pulley and belt back on, well, I reckon it's about time to start stuffing that new radiator in here. All right, Felipe, I guess I'll put the fan on the frickin' radiator out here.
Tell me, is there an option? Do you have to do it now?
No, you can do it either way, but heck, you know, it's supposed to be nice to have it on there. I'm gonna I don't know which way it goes. Yeah, I mean, I guess it's gotta be like that. I mean, that doesn't line up the best. I also can't really be too sure what these are for. Well, what the heck do you want me to do with this kind of shh? So I'm just gonna take a file to the weld that's basically what's holding up this fan shroud. File it back just enough, and then it should fit. Just barely. Just barely. Okay, so we've got the radiator and the fan and the expansion tank put together finally. So we can drop this whole assembly in and move forward. One other slight bit of bad news. This is the coolant level sensor. It goes in the bottom of the expansion tank, and I broke it. Broke the plastic, what do you know? But I've got another one on order. Hopefully it'll be here tomorrow, maybe not, but them's the breaks. This is gonna take a little bit longer because of that. I wouldn't call that wildly confidence inspiring. Am I forgetting a piece? Is there a rubber thing to transfer over? That's not the radiator. Hey, would you look at that? Who knew, you know? Ooh, baby. Not a bad looking setup. Okay, we got some hoses to put on. And then we got some wiring to do. And then we gotta wait on that level sensor. So I guess since it's not getting done today, we might as well call it for the night. It's pretty late. We'll resume in the morning. And our replacement coolant level sensor has arrived, which is great. So we can get this installed. And then the other thing I was waiting on is this. And this is a little splice-in unit with a 1/8 inch 27 NPT port. And that is for my temp sensor, for my fan control. So this goes in here, and when the coolant gets to a certain temperature, the fan will turn on. And I can adjust that temperature with the relay box that comes with the fan control kit. So we just got a few things to do. Put in our new level sensor, our temperature probe, do a little bit of wiring, fill the thing with fluid, and that's it. Let's do it. I'm I'm just gonna cut this hose. I'm gonna cut this, basically this section in between the two pieces of tape out, and it's gonna be replaced by the thickness of this port. Now I've got this on the outlet of the head, so I've got this right on the other side of the thermostat. So basically as soon as the thermostat opens and the hottest coolant we have in the engine comes through it, that's what'll be picked up by the temp sensor. Just gotta make a couple razor blade cuts. Yeah, I did. Nice. You never know. You never really know. Okay, let's see if we put this in the right spot.
Put the lime in the coconut.
You're drinking boat up. Okay, beautiful. And then our sensor can stick out right next to the expansion tank. We can run the wires right behind it. Oh boy. And I don't need to do anything to the other hose, so that's cool. All right, so now the hose is on and our little probe inlet ready to go. I'm gonna put my probe in it. So I'm just gonna put a little bit of high performance thread sealant on it and then tighten it down nice and snug. Okay, so now this is ready. So now we've just gotta get power and ground and key on 12 volt to our relay box via this wiring. I'm just going through the process of getting these wires to where they need to go. So this is gonna be a chassis ground, so probably down here. This is gonna come over to the fan, so it'll probably need lengthened a bit. Come back through here, over to the fan, ignition source, something. And then override, which is optional, and I'll probably leave it optioned out of, if you know what I mean. Okay, so we've got all our wiring complete and the cooling system is all installed. So now it's time to finally fill it with some coolant. So to do that, I've got a cool little tool here that helps you put coolant into a cooling system without trapping any air pockets in there. So how this works is kind of cool. I put shop air onto this connector right here, and it just blows air through this black body here. And there's a little venturi in here, and as air blows across it, it creates a vacuum, and it sucks a vacuum on my whole cooling system through here. And once I suck that vacuum, then I can open the valve that sucks coolant in. It'll also let you know whether or not you've got a cooling system leak before you put fluid in it. It won't pull full vacuum, or at least it won't hold vacuum if there's a leak. All right, so we've drawn 24 inches of mercury vacuum on the system, and as long as that holds steady for about 20 seconds, then we know we have no leaks and we can start sucking up some coolant. And then as this gauge comes back down to 0, we know that we've filled up. Now I gotta make sure I don't suck up any air, or else I gotta do it all over again. Ah, I sucked up air! I don't think any of it got there. Really not that big of a deal. All I gotta do is hook shop air back up, suck a little vacuum, do this again. Not a big deal. Safety, safety. Safety first, second, and third, folks. Our cooling system should now be full of coolant, so I'm gonna pop off our tool here, and then I'm gonna start the car. I'm still gonna run it with the radiator cap off and the bleeder open, just to make sure there's no air bubbles, and I'll let it come up to temp, and we'll fiddle with the fan, see what temperature it turns on at, and change it if we want to. Expecting no issues. Oh, critical hit. All right, I see no reason this thing shouldn't start. The hell? Oh, some butthole took the O2 sensor out to get the coolant drain plug out and didn't put it back in. That adds up. One more time. Okay, we're gonna let this thing come up to temperature. We'll see at what temperature the fans turn on. I'll just be temp gunning the thermostat housing here. Oh, I'm also gonna crank the heat on inside the car, make sure that coolant is flowing through the heater core, make sure there's no bubbles in there. So we've just reached operating temperature, the thermostat just opened, so we're running at about 165 right now. And that's about where I want it to turn on, just after the thermostat's opened. So now I need my screwdriver, and so I'm just gonna adjust this temperature control until the fan turns on. And there she goes. So now the fan will turn on to that temp every time and we should be good to go. I think that's a cooling system installed. Let's get it on the ground and take it for a drive. So I'm just gonna kind of drive around, put some heat into this thing, make sure the engine doesn't overheat, make sure we don't spring any leaks, and just kind of, you know, pay attention to the car overall and make sure that it's ready to go testing again, because it's about time to go back to the desert. Oh yeah, feels pretty good. Feels pretty good and our temps look good. So I'm gonna call this a successful shakedown. But it's only about 75 degrees here, so the real test is gonna be, you know, 100 degrees in the desert and absolute, you know, throttle smashing. So we'll see how it handles that next week. I'm just gonna keep driving around, shake this thing down, make sure she's good to go. I'm gonna look cool doing it. So I hope you guys enjoyed this episode. I hope you learned a thing or two. And if you did, make sure you go follow me on Instagram at ZachJob and follow Donut at Donut Media. And I'll see you guys next Wednesday.